Hey everybody, just got back from the powder coaters. I'm unloading my powder coating right now. This was the white one that I had in my RS for a long time. It's a TSS Faber subframe here. I had them strip it for me, so it's just bare metal now. Got to sandblast it and strip it. What's that now? Oh, there's the bushings from it. That's nice of them. Yeah, so they sandblasted for me. It was, it was rough. Nice. Charge me on this thing here. Let's take a peek. 75 bucks. So sandblasting that one was 75 bucks. And then, subframe with the pieces that came with it was 150 to sandblast. And, oh, I actually did, well, yeah, they had to sandblast it anyways. Even though it's bare metal, they got to sandblast it to rough it up so they get good adhesion and to help eliminate greases or anything maybe on it, assembly lube, things like that. The front sway bar, I had to do the front sway bar on it. 4 little brackets, and then of course they have all their little fees and stuff on there. So 310 bucks after tax is what I paid to have this one done. Just pull this one out of the car. Look at it. Ooh, it looks nice. The radio's still going in the background of my car. I should probably shut that. Where is it? Is there a button? No. There it goes. See the dust fly off the back. Oh shit. Alright. Let's grab this. That looks really nice. That's a cool color. Oh, yeah. Look at that, huh? That is a good looking piece right there. They didn't get inside the threads, which is good, right? You want inside the threads, but that little right there is a little bare, so I'm gonna hit that with some touch-up paint. Put the thread, a bolt in it from the back side so that the top sticks up. Shoot some paint on it so that part gets done, and then back the bolt back out again. And then I'll be sure to use lubricant on the bolt when I put it in. Look at that. I don't want to sit on the ground. It's too pretty. Oh, but I have to. Oh, I'll sit on this stool. Looks good. I don't know if you guys remember how bad my white line sway bar looked. Now, this sway bar, I don't think is even going back on this car. This is a great view for you, I know. Sway bar is not going back on this car because it no longer has the same front subframe. This one will be going in a different car. Perhaps I'll put it in the black car or I'll put it in the drift car. But it looks really good. Better than that janky blue that was on it. That looks really good. We got the support plates for the T-bar. See the front balance on that. This is A1 video quality right here. Probably just need a time lapse me taking freaking plastic off of things. Oh yeah. Look at those. You can see, if you look at the shadows there, that's where we lost material from the rust that was under before. And they blast it off and leaves little pits in the metal. That's totally expected. The finish is good. The adhesion, even in this pitted area, looks really good. See one little sand blemish. Ain't gonna fucking matter. Not that you're gonna see this much. It's under the car. This one was so bad before. Again, it looks good. Same thing on the top here where the rust was. You can see the pits in there. There's only so much they can do with shitty metal. But it looks gorgeous. They did a good job. Not seeing any major holes or blemishes that are unexpected. good. I'm excited. Build is pretty much stopped on this thing. Waiting on parts. So I can start putting the back end back together again. I'm excited about that. Put the rear coils back, the new rear coils in it. I got the Fortunes over there. That's my scale. So once I get all the coils installed, I'll be able to corner balance the car and weigh it. Yeah. So all of this stuff that I painted, it had rust on it, is looking all right. I missed some. I just noticed I missed this bracket here, but this bracket I can replace if they still make it. I don't know, but or I can just take it off and paint it. This one too, I should have done that one as well. I kind of missed that. These are TSS ladder links. They're aluminum, so they don't need to be powder coated. They need to be clean though. Anyways, so yeah, I don't know if you guys know, I bought a new subframe. Obviously I have the one I got from the junkyard in here, and it actually fits. Like I said, it took a tiny bit of grinding just to open the holes up a little teeny bit. See right here, it's just the car, the mounts for the car is just a tad bit narrower than the subframe, just a little bit. On the bottom holes. On the top holes, it's fine. The bottom holes, because they actually made them smaller on here. So I had to grind this a teeny bit. But other than that, it's in place. It works good. The control arms fit. The only issue was that since this mounting point is up and out a 1/4 inch each direction, 6 millimeters, that means the ball joint moved back. So I lost caster and I lost wheelbase. So I've been really racking my brain trying to figure out what I want to do to fix that. I know it's only a 1/4 inch in the end, but 1/4 inch is a 1/4 inch, you know. I thought it would be more at the ball joint, but because the control arm is pretty close to being the same length at all 3 corners, it's like 13 by 14 by 17, I think is what it is. So it's like 14, 13, and 17, something like that. It's a pretty balanced triangle. It only moved about a 1/4 inch, so that was all right. Another cool development was a lot of guys are doing inserts on the inner tie rods. And when you do inserts to change the thread pitch from one to the other, the 22 STI, for example, supposedly has like an M20 or M22 thread in here, which is ridiculous to me. That seems really, really big. This one was M16, which is still bigger than the tie rods of the other years of the GD and everything. It's M16 on the inside end. So I went onto the Moog website and found tie rods. So Moog has a database on there where you can go through and pick tie rods based on thread pitch at each end, male or female, and then total length. So I went and found this one. I wanted to go shorter than the factory one, but I didn't have an accurate measurement of the factory one because I'm stupid. And so I was like, oh, this one's shorter. This one should be good. And then I got it, and it was way, way shorter. This is what, CT23 or something, CRM23. Yeah, that guy. That guy was way short. However, the CTR tie rod end, really nice quality. I really like the construction quality of it. It looks really good. I'll show you. It looks really good. I mean, edges are chamfered. Everything's chamfered. The steel looks high quality. The ball is very shiny. It's nice and smooth. It's pre-lubed. I like it. It's got the good location for the indent here for the boot, which matches the Subaru one pretty close. Like it says Subaru right there. Right? I mean, it was pretty freaking close. But as you see here, it was just way too short. I do need to lose about 1.5 inches off of each one because of the different dimensions on the tie rod. I'm sorry, the steering rack. But this was too much. This brought it basically 1.5 inches into here, which meant no thread depth, no penetration, and that no es bueno. So that didn't work out. So then I went and got a longer one. This one's a Moog or a Master Pro or something. It's not as nice. This one is definitely not as nice. And look, it's got a plastic cup or something sealed around the ball. It looks like the ball sits in a plastic socket, which sits in the outer. I'm not sure I like that. It might work out. I don't know. We'll see. This one doesn't have the same spot for the rack boot to sit on, so I may have to like machine something down. But you'll see that it's longer, and if you subtract 1.5 inches from it, it'll be have 1.5 inches of engagement. That's perfect. I think this is off of a Lincoln Town Car or something like that. I forget which one this is off of. But it is the right thread pitch, the M16 on this end, M14 on this end, both of those 1.5 thread pitch. Just doesn't have the indent. Now, I thought about finding the equivalent one in the CTR and seeing if it was as nice as this one. I bought a lot of tie rods, inner and outer, and I just didn't want to keep buying them until I figured out which one was going to work. This one looks like it'll probably work. So what I will be doing soon is screwing this into the rack, putting the control arm back on a knuckle with the outer tie rod in and see if it fits. I also thought, hey, what if I look for outer tie rods that are a little shorter? And I did buy a couple that were shorter. So like I said, I bought a lot of tie rods. I bought inners and outers. The issue that I had was finding the right taper is very, very difficult. The Subaru taper is not a common taper. Now, for Subaru, it's the exact same taper and the same outer tie rod they've used on every make and model since 1993. So that's stellar. Same tie rod, 1993. You're going to find a million of these. The problem is that they didn't use different ones. Like I wanted different ones, hoping that one would be shorter, and I can get a shorter one and use it on the long inner tie rod that came with the WRX rack, and just lop some off and be in good shape. But it didn't happen. Didn't work out that way. Now I could technically probably cut this one a little bit and try that too, which is something that I think more people probably should have tried, was cutting the factory one. But I don't know if the threads go deep enough to get as much penetration as you would need. So I would have to investigate that. The idea was, though, to find shelf parts that fit, that don't require stupid adapters, like the thread adapter on the rack, or an extension adapter here, or machining stuff, or having to cut things. I was trying to make it as plug and play as possible so that I could share the information to everybody for it. So right now, this is the one that I'm going with until I test to make sure the length is right, the correct length. If it is, yippee skippy. If it's not, I gotta go back to the database again and try and find one that's a smidge longer. But I was really in between sizes on these, and I think this is one of the last ones I really get a chance to try. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, so that's where this is at. Now that I got my rear stuff, I'm happy about that. I can put that back together. I have a front sway bar from the 15 WRX that I'm probably running on this. I put it in there already, and it looks like it'll work. It looks like it'll work with different end links. I would need to get different end links because the bar size on the WRX is so, the hole in the bar is larger than the hole in the control arm. Now that being said, I could drill the control arm. There's enough material there. I could drill the control arm and use the 15 WRX end links, which I think would work. I gotta double check. I know, well, factory ones wouldn't, but an aftermarket one that's adjustable, because then I can put one this way and one that way on the end link, one to the inside, one to the outside, and then it'll work good. So I'll post some videos on that later once I get the absolute results finalized. So anyways, that's where I have been on this project. Also, I have a 3D printer now. So I've been 3D printing stuff, testing things, fitment on stuff that I've designed. Transmission under my car here. So I've got a CR10 version 3 direct drive thingamabobber. And I bought another hot end for it, this E3D V6 hot end. That one is supposed to go to almost 500 Celsius, which means I can print things like peak, which I really want to print peak. and it does a better job printing PETG. This one can technically print it. I have a roll there. I did it the other day, and the print was pretty good. I took a lot of tweaking. It was pretty good, but I know it could be better with a better hot end, and so I got one. And I have a lot of filament here to trip over. I haven't scanned much lately because I've been working with this other stuff, but you can see oh, there's the tie rod ends. Here's one of them that I was looking at. This one is a decent length that I could use with the factory inner. I believe it would be long enough still, but this taper was just a smidge off. It comes in here and sits and it rocks. So you know that it's hitting on the big end, but the small end's not in deep enough to get you seated on that taper. Options for that are you can buy reamers to establish the correct taper for this. But again, that's modifications to the car I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to make it as plug and play as possible. So this one is a no-go. There's a 15 WRX bar, which coincidentally I think comes at like 23 millimeters, which is almost an inch, which is bigger than the bar I had on this car before. I had a 22 on it, so that's a 23. So as it is, it's already going to be a stiffer bar than what I had on the car before. So if I can make it work, then that will be fabulous. So yeah, that's where the project sits. Oh, old knees. I'm gonna do a video here pretty soon where I make stuff in SolidWorks. I'm gonna do a little video series on engineering parts and how to do it. I think that should be a good time. And there'll be a multiple part series where we go through the calculations and some of the stuff like that needed to properly design a part. And I think for starters, we're gonna do just a bypass valve, a factory style bypass valve for a Subaru, because for some reason, nobody can freaking make one correctly. I don't understand what the deal is. If you've seen some of the new ones that just came out on the market, they are absolute trash. Really, really bad. If you know anybody that wants a bent subframe or a used one for doing their own project, I'm gonna have 2 for sale here really soon. Although I might use one in the drift car. That might be cool, because the exhaust can fit under here easily. We'll see. Anyways, thanks a bunch, guys. Hope you have a good weekend. It's coming up, and I'll see you around.